Hello, fifth graders. Today for art, we're going to be working on an op art or optical illusion art lesson. And it's probably going to be a practice for you. You may end up with a finished piece of art. It just depends how quickly you get done. I'm going to show you how to get started and then how to add highlights and shadows to your drawing. And I'm going to give you a lot of the full class to work so you can get done as much as you can. Op art uses the art elements value, shape, color, and line to give the impression of movement or vibrations or warping. Sometimes it's abstract because it's not a photographic or a picture of something like flowers or a person or, something that really exists. But sometimes it is about something from real life. So op art is all about creating illusions, and sometimes those illusions really kind of trick your eye and mess with your mind a little bit, like in this case with M.C. Escher. M.C. Escher does a lot with distorting perspective so that you can't tell where there's a roof that's ending or a ladder that's beginning, things like that. In this case, he's also using the art element space and a little bit the art element texture to add to that optical illusion quality. His art was, believe it or not, drawn and then sometimes printed. So not only was there a lot of skill and technique involved in M.C. Escher's work, but there was also a lot of just patience and really hard work. Supplies you need today are an 8x11 or 9x12 inch white drawing paper, an eraser and a pencil, and some colored pencils. You want to take a rectangle and draw it in the middle of your white piece of paper. Inside your rectangle, you're going to put 3 wavy or curvy lines. They don't have to be symmetrical. The wavy lines are vertical, going from the top to the bottom of your rectangle. And then somewhere near the middle of these wavy lines, going horizontal, so from left to right, you're going to draw a straight-ish line. And everything above that line is going to curve up. Every line beneath that line is going to curve down. And this is true for each of your rows or your tubes, whatever you want to call them. Now, to accentuate or emphasize where these tubes kind of balloon out, you can, as you go towards the bottom of your rectangle, you can make your curved lines deeper. So imagine they're like a C and you're bending that curve of your C even deeper as you get towards the top and the bottom of your rectangles. So make sure you're really curving your lines either up if they're above that midline or down if they're below that midline. Otherwise, if you have straight lines on these wavy tube things, you won't be creating the optical illusion. Once you get this part done, it's time to add color. You're going to need 2 or 3 values in each color. So, for example, I have 3 different yellows and I have white. And then I only ended up using 2 of these different blues and white because there really wasn't that much difference between the medium and the lighter blue. So you're going to start on the edge of one of your tubes and you're going to put your darkest color there or your darkest value. And remember, when we're fading with colored pencils, it's all about your pressure. So how hard you're pushing down with your color pencil. And then you're going to lighten up your pressure as you get in towards the middle with that first color. And then you're going to switch to the second color and you're going to go over that lighter area. And then you're going to, and then your very lightest value with the lightest amount of pressure is going to be right in the middle of that tube. And then you're going to go over that center area with white. Now, the other important thing to do is to keep your strokes. So each time you touch the paper with your color pencil, you want your strokes all going the same direction. So you can decide what those strokes are, if they're little tiny circles or if they're little tiny lines. Your stroke can be whatever you want it to be, but you just have to keep it consistent every time you color. Now, I picked blue and yellow because I like the way they look together and they contrast really nicely. You can pick whatever colors you want to work with. So you're gonna have 2 different colors in one tube, and then in the tube next to it, you're gonna have 2 different colors. So in my first tube, I worked with yellow and blue, and then in my second tube, I'm working with red and green. And then each of your tubes is gonna alternate with those 2 color schemes. So the tube on the left side of my blue and yellow tube is also gonna be red and green. But whatever color you're working with, the technique is the same. So you're varying your pressure with the hardest pressure or the most pressure on the outside edges of your tubes. And don't forget to overlap your colors because you want to blend them smoothly or without any like obvious lines. So don't be afraid to layer your lighter color over your darker color, or to even come back in and layer your darker color over your lighter color a little bit. And then the white is going to go over everything in the middle. All right, 5th grade, enjoy your op art project. It's okay if you don't finish. I just want you to practice these blending and shading and creating highlight techniques with colored pencils. I'll see you guys next time.